Alright, guys, I know this has been a while since I've been able to do this. I put the last part on YouTube a while ago, but I've been sick. I haven't been doing the greatest. Been pretty rough with work and stuff. So, with everything said, this is my Dying Light 2 review. Um, Everything here, again, as I like to tell everybody, is an opinion based. This is all my opinion. I'm running my reviews based off three pros and three cons of a game, and then our final verdict of the game. Um, with that said, please comment, share, like, whatever about your opinions about it. It's okay. I like to hear feedback about things. With that going, let's start off with some pros. First pro on this is parkour running. Now I'm gonna put this as running because later on in the thing I'm going to hit a little harder on other areas. But the running aspect from just straight running around, climbing over things, jumping off things, the chases, all that feels smooth, feels good. Loving that aspect of that area. Great aspect. Some of the chases you have to do, or when you're at night, when you're getting chased by the zombies because you alert them or whatever, it feels good. It's really good. It feels smooth. You know what you're doing, and when you pull off those nice little tricks, you're just like, damn, I just did that. That's fucking awesome. Um, the next thing is exploring. The world is huge. There's a lot to it. There are so much, and there are so many secrets in this game that is crazy to get obtain different weapons, different items and stuff that you wouldn't have found. And then they're not you don't find them by like quests and stuff. You find them by exploring. And that makes it so nice. Like it makes exploring rewarding. And the world is just so gorgeous. The game is very good in the exploring aspect, finding different things. Just that's my favorite part about this game was the exploring aspect of the game. So I just had to put this as a pro because it's just so good at exploring. The next thing is nighttime. Now I put nighttime is because this game pushes really harsh on the nighttime, and it's good. It's good. The nighttime is a little harder area of the game. More monsters are out in the world. The zombies that are harder. There's howlers. There's bigger ones. There's just stronger ones at night that you can't get in daytime. So this game pushes it. There's a lot of side quests, main quests, different things you have to do at night that you don't have to do, can't do it in day. Now, if I remember right, I played the first one, but it's been a long time. I played it back when it first came out. It didn't really push really hard on the nighttime. There was some missions here and there, but for the most part, it wasn't like, other than you get more experience and stuff, it wasn't like, hey, do nighttime more. This game makes you want to do it more and more. You can't explore buildings without going in nighttime because the monsters are harder in daytime. Like it's it really pushes that nighttime aspect, and it feels good. It's creepy. Like you gotta be more on the roofs at night than on in day. Everything just it's really good. I really like the aspect of the nighttime aspect and how they pushed it a little more into this game. So I'm liking it. Now to the cons. The first con is climbing. Now, when I said parkour running, this is part of the parkour is the climbing aspect. Climbing is awful in this game. It does not feel as smooth as it should. Same problems I had in the first one. You would try to climb on it, and instead of climbing, he would like grab it and jump off because there's an ability you get when you jump onto something. You'll jump right off and right over, gone. And I've done that where you'll be on the top of the building and you're doing that and you jump right off and you're like, what the fuck? Why did I do that? And then you're dead. It's like, why would I do that? Or you hit a wall. There was a part of the mission where I had to climb on a part of a building or something, and there was a climbing thing right there in my face. But instead of him grabbing it, he was like this. He slides, fall dead. Like, why didn't I grab that object? Why am I doing that? Why did I do that? Reason is, I don't know. There's a lot of bugs and problems with the climbing aspect. If they fix it, I think this will do wonders. But the problem is it's not, when I bought it when it first came out, played it when it first came out. There was a lot of problems with it, and I hated that aspect. I hated it because climbing is what I wanted to be good, and it didn't feel good. It was very frustrating a lot of the times where I would try to grab something or whatever, and instead of him grabbing it or doing what I needed him to do, he would do some crazy stupid thing and then get me killed. It pissed me off. So the next con is dialogue and story. Now I'm gonna hit this hard. Dialogue is one of the things that I hated in this game. The game has weird moments in the dialogue that makes you go, what the fuck just happened? For an example, there was a part of a mission where you had to find a girl for this guy, and when you do, she like tells him that they were supposed to work together and help each other, blah 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 blah, and you get to tell her not to do this or whatever. I'm trying not to spoil it, so that's why I'm giving kind of fake story. But at one point of the conversation, she basically breaks up with him. And when she does, he doesn't like show like any in the dialogue emotion at all. Like it doesn't feel like he feels bad. It just happened. And so when he's talking and then you're just like, man, I'm sorry. He's like, go fuck yourself. And I'm like, what did I do? What happened here? Why did it turn from no emotion to straight pissed off at me? Like, what the fuck? And then it ended. The conversation was over. We were done talking. It was like, what the fuck just happened? The dialogue did that many times. And then aspects of like the dialogue, like you, at one point of the story, at one point of the things you tell a person that somebody's dead. No big deal, okay? And then because it's scripted so hard in certain areas that makes it push to a certain part of the story, there's no branching parts of this story or anything in the dialogues. So when you tell somebody one thing, the story is scripted to a point where this is the outcome of it no matter what comes to be. And I'm not saying like parts of the story can't be changed, like whatever, but you tell somebody that somebody's dead, and then the next conversation you have with them, you tell them that somebody let them live, and it's a shock, and this person's just like, oh, I'm floored, man. I'm very happy that they let them live. That's great. Come back to me. I gotta talk to you. Not once in the conversation did the person go, what? Didn't you just fucking tell me 10, 15 minutes ago that they're dead? Why the fuck are they not dead now? What changed? What's going on? Nope, that's not even part of the conversation. That did not come up at all. So it's just irritated issues. And the story part of this is the same thing. The story is so scripted. It's so, like, some of the choices don't feel very great. In the story you get to choose to be help the PK, which is like the police military aspect, or the survivors, which is like the civilians of the area. You get to choose whatever, okay? And there's parts of the story where you get to kind of be with the PK or the survivors. No matter what you did, it doesn't feel like it changes the outcome of what comes. At one point, I chose the survivors throughout the whole game. I helped the survivors most of this game, okay? If not all of it. But for some reason, PK helped me throughout the whole fucking game. Like, it didn't matter. I fucking betrayed PK and fucked over the PK. But for some reason, they still loved me. And it just didn't feel like those outcomes changed anything. And maybe it did. I've heard some things people say, well, the story, the mission you'd had to do if you chose them instead of this would have been different. Okay, but still, my choices didn't feel great. And that's part of the reason. That's why I put them together, because it kind of combined into them. The dialogue is a little rough, and the story is it just doesn't feel the greatest. The next con is the skill tree. I don't find the skill tree very interesting or great. Once I got the 10, 15 skills that I absolutely wanted in the skill tree, which is pretty quick into the skill tree, then I was just kind of putting points in just to finish the skill tree. Like, I didn't find the skill tree that fun or interesting or great to play with. Not a lot of the skill tree things are great. Like, there's a part of the skill tree combat one is bows and crossbows. I didn't use the crossbow or the bow. I used the bow to hit people along range if necessary, but my melee weapon would have killed it in one strike, while it took me 5 strikes to kill him with the fucking bow. Like, what's the point of the bow? It's a useless item. It does no damage, and you only find very little of them at all. So, like, what's the point of them? You can't do anything with them. And I put skill tree points onto it to increase the damage as best as I could, and it still feels fucking awful. I didn't like the bow. Maybe some people loved it, but I hated it. And the skill tree just, there's so many, it's filled with just nonsense, junk that I didn't like. And I think they could have put things on there a little more interesting into them. For example, maybe some things on the skill tree that helped in the crafting area, or skill tree that helped throwing items or stuff like that. And there really isn't much to that. It's either get to beat the crap out of people or run really fast. There are some skills in the parkour skill tree that make it a little interesting and cool, but for the most part, the skill tree is just lackluster and not fun or interesting to watch or use or whatever. So ultimately, these are my pros, these are my cons. With that said, guys, this is what I give it for a verdict. A 7 out of 10. It's good. Um, I was I was pushing this, okay? 7 was pushed really harsh. I almost gave this a 5 or a 6 because this game has so many problems. There's more cons than there are good. The only reason it got a good is because it was still fun. I enjoyed playing the game for the most part. Especially exploring. It's so interesting to explore the world and have fun. The story didn't really grip me very well into the game too much. There were parts of it where like, oh, okay, this is getting interesting, but then it would go away very quickly. The side missions are kind of like, eh. There are things great about it that make it in a little cool. There's some things that don't make it great. There's a lot of bad than compared to good. It took a lot harder for me to figure out the pros over the cons. I could have come up with more cons than the 3 I have. There were so many problems, and it just bothered me. But again, I gave it a 7 only because I had so much fun exploring, running around the city, doing these little side missions, like these little capture the windmills and all these different things, just because it's interesting and the world is interesting, and finding these um tapes and stuff like that to kind of make it go, wow, what the hell happened here. I love that aspect of it. But again, there's just so many problems. I do say if you love the first one, play this one. The first, it's basically one, except now it's a two, and there's just added a little more to it. There is multiplayer, and I don't remember if the first one had it. I didn't really get into the multiplayer area, but there is multiplayer where you can join in with friends and play the missions with each other. It's just there's a lot of good things about it. I do want to say there's one issue I do have with it, and I didn't put it on the is the leveling up system is just ridiculous. I know it's probably scripted that the story does this, but at one point in the game where you I was at like level 9 and I had items that are level 9, and the story was like level 6, and so I was one-shotting all enemies with that part weapons because it's just I was so strong. and it's probably because the game has a um, New Game Plus, where once you beat the game, you can go back and explore, do side missions, find everything, and collect everything. But again, it's not what I like to do. Ultimately, again, it's a 7 out of 10. I do say if you like the first one, play the second one. There's a lot of bugs and problems. I know I've heard some people say that they're fixing some of the bugs, they're fixing the problems. And when they do fix those, I think even more people would love to play it. I do say try it out, have fun with it, enjoy it, run around the city, explore it, find the different weapons and items that there are in the world. There's just so many of them. Again, thank you guys. Enjoyed the game. Enjoyed the review. I hope you guys like it. Please comment, share, like. I appreciate everything. And again, I'm out.